Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. It is a lovely Tuesday afternoon. Temperature somewhere in the early 60s, 62, 63, somewhere there. It's a really nice day, sunshine. We are on our way up to the National Forest. See if we can find us a place to camp for a couple of days. It's Tuesday and I don't plan on coming back home until Thursday, so it should be a pretty good trip. Not exactly sure where we're going to be staying. My wife and I spent some time 2 days ago, I think, riding around up in the forest, taking roads I'd never been on, finding different places. Found some really cool camping places that are only accessible by a capable four-wheel drive that's relatively high clearance. So that was a really neat spot, but I'm not going there this time. Probably going to save that one for the next time I go up in that area. It's probably, I don't know, another 20 minutes from the side of the national forest where I normally camp. But we found a lot of places on that side also. But, sometimes you just got to go up there and ride around, do your scouting, find some places. There was one road we went down. Nobody had been down that road in a long time. I don't think anybody was even down through there during deer season. So it's a very untraveled road, but it winds back to a big open area. Well, I say a big open area, but I mean open enough you can camp. It's going to take a little bit of work, and that's why I'm not going there this time. Just because it's going to take some work to clean it up, and I'm not quite exactly sure what's going on with my shoulder at this point, but I know I'm not going to be swinging a shovel or a big rake or using my chainsaw. So, but that place is the kind of nice where I would probably clean it up real good because I would most likely be the only one using it. So I would try to make it pretty nice. I try to stay in a little different place every time I go make a video, but there might be multiple videos done at that particular spot just because it's so nice, and there's a lot of things that I need to bring to the channel. I've got a couple of different tents I want to set up and check them out. One I have used, I've owned it for 2 or 3 years, but I'd like to set it up in some harsh weather. I'm not quite exactly sure how well it'll stand up in rain and wind and that kind of stuff. I think it's been relatively nice every time I've ever used it. Excuse me. But anyway, I am on my way out there now, so I'll check in with y'all in a little bit. Hey everybody, welcome back. We've made it to a camp spot. This is where we're going to spend the next couple of days. Got the truck and the rooftop tent set up there. It ain't quite all the way set. I don't have any of my sleeping stuff up there. I was just trying to get it sort of set up. When I got here, I was gonna bring y'all back and show you what I had going on, but I forgot all about it. But anyway, there it is. Got my fire pit, got my little wood. I always bring that wood with me. When I'm able to use my chainsaw again, then I'll quit bringing wood because there's a ton of wood out there to get. It's just I'm not quite in that shape yet. But anyway, there's the Slumberjack tarp. I usually try to set that up in a different way most every time I come to a camp spot, except if I know it's going to storm, then I'll kind of set it up in kind of a pup tent fashion to keep the wind from blowing the rain in from the sides. But the weather's supposed to be decent. It's going to get cool tonight, but we're supposed to have another day like today was, where it's going to be in the right around 61 or 62, but usually gets a little bit above that. But anyway, this is kind of where we're at. We got pretty good views through the trees. I guess it helps to be here, but views aren't bad. Might get some sunrise and sunsets from here anyway. But anyhow, it's getting late. I need to get a fire started. Well, I need to get some coffee on. Then I need to get a fire started. And then we can think about what we're going to have for supper. But anyway, let me get to getting at that. And I'll get back with y'all in just a little bit. Hey everybody, we got the coffee done and the fire made. I just been sipping on this coffee, trying to decide what to have for supper. I think I have decided I'm just gonna have some deer sausage and crackers. That sausage is so good, it's got cheese and jalapenos in it. You can't hardly beat that. Well, it's been a good start to the week, but today I had every intention to get up at dark 30 and head to the woods. But somewhere in the middle of yesterday evening, I remembered I had some banking I had to do this morning. So I thought to myself, as soon as that bank opens, I'm going to be there, do what I need to do, and then move on. Well, as I was collecting my thoughts about that, I remembered that the tag, license plate tag on my wife's car expired on the 31st. And I had every intention of taking care of that, and I didn't. And I don't know, some of y'all, I'm sure, are familiar with how Arkansas works. We have personal property tax. So you have to go down to the tax assessor's office and get your stuff assessed, and then go over to the tax collector's office and pay your personal property taxes. So anyway, I got to town. I decided to go a little bit early before the banks open and go take care of the license plate issue. So I did that, and when I got done at the tax assessor's office, I went over to the DMV, got the new little sticker, and I was good. Well, no sooner than I left there, my brother called me. We had a horrendous hailstorm back some months ago, and he's got a truck similar to mine. I think he's got a longer bed and a taller topper on his. But anyway, the hail knocked one of the windows out of his topper. And I'm an old glass guy from way back. I did it for 30 years, replaced auto glass stuff. So he asked me when he got the stuff together to if I could help him put the window in. I said, sure, no problem. That was pre-shoulder surgery. So as I left the driver's license place, getting the new tags, he called me, said he had the stuff, said he wasn't far from town. He would just swing by the house. I was like, no trouble. I'm in town now. I'm on my way home. I'll meet you there. So we get there, and we're struggling with it. You know, typically it wouldn't be that big of a deal, but you know, you got to get up in the back of that truck, and you're in that topper, and you know, I'm dealing with a bad arm, and the whole thing wasn't fun. And it was cold this morning. It was somewhere in the 30s. So if you've got any idea of how hard rubber gets when it's cold, well, the very rearmost windows in his topper, they're set in a rubber gasket. So that was a struggle. We had to take it out, make a pattern, and then cut out the new window out of some tinted plexiglass he had got. Well, that stuff was so brittle. I don't know if it was due to the saw blades we were using or due to the temperature or what it was, but that stuff started cracking and chipping, and before we went any further, before we totally ruined the piece that we were working on, we had to figure out something different. So we got a utility knife and cut the straight edges with that, and then I did the corners with a grinder, and that all worked fine. You know, it come out pretty good. And then we had to do the install. Well, that was a horse of a whole nother color because of that hard gasket, and the way his works, it's an offset gasket, and it's put in the topper inside out, so the locking strip goes on the inside. Well, they make a special tool to put them locking strips in, and I haven't done glass work in some years, but I keep some of the tools around. So I went digging around out in my shed and could only find one locking strip tool. You know, they make different sizes of the tool to fit different size locking strips, and I didn't have the one to fit his locking strip. So I came back and we tried it. That didn't fly. So I tried to do it with a hook tool and that wasn't working. So I thought, well, let me go take another look. Well, on my way to the shed, I have a metal rack sitting out front of the shed, and I saw a few things sitting on one of the shelves on that rack. And I looked, well, it was two lace tools, been sitting out there for who knows, probably 2 years, rusting. So I went on back to where his truck was parked, and we put a little oil on there and tried to break it loose. Wasn't flying. But anyway, long story short, we finally got the job done. And then he went on about his business. I don't know. I think he was going home, whatever. And then it dawned on me, when I was in town, I forgot to go do my banking. So by this time, you know, a lot of time has passed. It's afternoon by now. So I tell my wife, you know, when I was in town, I forgot to do the banking. So I had to go back to town. We took care of that, come home. I had quite a bit of stuff in the truck already, but I didn't have my clothes, and I'm not one of them people that can go camping and not change their clothes. You know, I'm gonna have on some different clothes in the morning when we have coffee, I promise you. But anyway, so the day just drug on and drug on. So by the time I got up on the mountain, I thought, I'm not sure where I want to camp. You know, it was such a beautiful day. It was warm and the sun was shining. So one of my favorite things to do is just ride around anyway. So I rode around, looked at several different campsites. I didn't run onto anybody camped up here. It was pretty quiet everywhere I went. And I thought, you know, I like to see sunrises and sunsets. So I thought I would try to get up on a hill somewhere where I can get one or the other. In this particular spot, you can get a pretty good sunrise. You know, the sun comes up over that way, maybe over this way now. But anyway, you usually get pretty good sunrise here. So hopefully, well, I'm sure I'll be here, but hopefully it won't be cloudy or anything. It's not supposed to be. It's getting kind of cloudy now, but I don't think it's going to last long. But anyway, so by the time I got all this set up, got my coffee made and the fire going, I was contemplating on what to cook for supper. And I really just don't feel like cooking much of nothing. So I did bring a stick of that deer sausage with me. So I think I'm just going to have deer sausage and crackers. So anyway, I have bent y'all's ear long enough. So I'm going to finish my coffee and I'll bring y'all back when it's time to get that deer sausage out. All right, everybody, it is time to get down with some of this deer sausage and crackers. Get some of this cut up here. Hopefully this is in frame where y'all can see it. I meant to tell y'all earlier when I was talking to you, when I first got everything set up, that ladder that comes with that rooftop tent, you know, that thing's 7.5 feet tall. But on top of my truck, especially when I had that leveling block underneath it, you know, to make sure everything was level. Excuse me. Goodness gracious. Anyway, that ladder, it wouldn't work. It was too short. So starting to think, you know, what I could do to make it where it would work. And then I finally remembered that I had air in my airbags. My truck's got airbags on it. So I thought, well, I'll try to let some air out and see if it'll drop the truck enough to make the ladder work. Well, and sure enough, it did work, just barely though. I mean, the ladder is still not at a an angle I would prefer it to be at, but at least it's doable. So I have to be careful where I park that thing when I have to use those leveling blocks, because it takes it up just high enough to make it a problem. But anyway, I meant to tell y'all about that earlier. All right, I'm going to try to pick this plate up and show it to y'all without dumping all my stuff out. We'll see. But anyway, there it is, deer sausage and crackers. That's what I'm going to have for supper. I'm going to take this and my cup of coffee over by the fire, and I'll talk to y'all in a little bit. Hey, good morning, everybody. I just wanted to share this beautiful morning sky with y'all. That sun is slowly beginning to creep up on that side of the mountain. It's about, I guess, about 6:30. I think I got up about 4, but you know, it's so dark early in the morning like that that filming is just a pain in the butt unless you turn on a bunch of lights. And that's really the last thing I want first thing in the morning is a bunch of lights. But anyway, I don't know if you can see over here or not. We'll give it a shot. Whoa. I made my coffee this morning. And, well, let me turn this on. I made my coffee this morning in the Fire Maple X2 cooking system. Went off without a hitch. Yeah, I do have the French press attachment for it, which, you know, is a one-stop shop for your coffee. I made that coffee, and then I made me a nice fire this morning. So I just been hanging out by this fire, sipping a cup of coffee. Excuse me, waiting on daylight. And I got some bacon and eggs and some sausages. I got all kind of stuff for breakfast if we want it, if we feel like it. I'm not super hungry just yet, but by the time daylight gets all the way on us, I probably will be. Which, you know, all the way daylight ain't really that far away, I guess. Maybe about 45 minutes or so. It should be light enough to do some stuff without a light. But anyway, it was a good night. I didn't bring any heat this time. Again, I just have my 0-degree sleeping bag and then a poncho liner, just in case that wasn't enough, but I didn't get cold. As a matter of fact, a few times I was a little bit overly warm, so I had to hang one leg out of my sleeping bag. But all in all, it was a pretty good night, I think. Woke up feeling good. Wasn't super stuffed up. You know, a lot of times after I've been sitting around here huffing this campfire smoke all night, I wake up, head all stopped up, allergies and whatever. But all in all, it was a good night and it's been a good morning. But anyway, I'm gonna get off here and drink my coffee a little more, and I'll get back with y'all about breakfast time. Ooh, there's still a pretty good chill in the air this morning. It's about 34, I think 34 degrees. Might be 35 by now, but it's supposed to warm up to about 62 today. So should end up being a pretty good day. But the chill is still in the air, so this fire feels really good. That sun is just making its way across the top of that mountain. It's pretty. Not quite time to cook breakfast yet. Still just enjoying this fire and coffee. should probably spin y'all around, let you take a look at that sunrise. You know, every sunrise we get is the start of a brand new day. All right, y'all forgive all my moving and shaking here. There it is. Sun just creeping up. Yep, it's going to be a beautiful day, boys and girls. Let's give you a quick look out through the woods here. All right, I'm going to get back to my coffee, and I will catch up with y'all in just a little bit. All right, time to get a little bacon on. Got this, had this skillet heating up for a minute. Get a little bacon in there. Come on now. Well, it don't look like this was a wise choice in bacon. It looks to be mostly fat. I'm gonna have to do better next time. It looks like we're gonna have to cook a bunch of it just to get any meat. But anyway, it don't matter. It has been a good morning so far, y'all. Had a couple of deer. Walked, I don't know, about 50 yards right down through there. Just moseying along. Guess they ain't got nowhere particular to be. Alright, we got that bacon down. We'll let that get started. I'm gonna reheat this coffee just because I have neglected it and it's starting to get a little cool. Well, I'll tell you what, I have been thoroughly surprised at how that fire maple cooking unit goes. I never had anything like it before, and it worked really well. It has not failed me yet. Well, we're gonna let this bacon cook along, and then got some eggs over there. We'll do some eggs with it. I don't know if I brought anything to, I don't know, I might cut up an onion and throw in those eggs. It always makes them a little better as far as I'm concerned. But anyway, I'll get back with y'all in just a little bit. Hey everybody, welcome back. Breakfast was good. I went ahead and fried a few eggs to go with my bacon and that hot smoked sausage I had there. And it all was pretty good, and then I just kind of hung around the fire, just piddling mostly. I had planned on staying tonight too, but and I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow for my shoulder, and I already knew that it's a little bit later appointment, but I thought, by the time, I wake up in the morning and it gets daylight, I pack all this stuff up, go home, take a shower, and then drive an hour to my doctor's appointment. That might be pushing it some. And also, tomorrow's my wife's birthday, So I got to think of something to do for that, for her, get her something. You know, I don't even know if she's probably to the point where she doesn't have birthdays anymore. But, you know, tomorrow is the day she was born. So, you know, I wouldn't feel right not doing something for her. But anyway, so I'll probably hang out here for a while. You know, it's about, I don't know, about 20 after 11. I'll probably hang around here for a while, and I'll pack all this stuff up, head to the house, and do that stuff tomorrow, and think about when I'm going to come back out again. I think we got some rain coming up in the forecast, and I got a tent that I need to, you know, I need to check it out and see if it's going to be seaworthy or not. You know, see if it'll keep the rain out. So that rainy time might be a good time to do that. You know, I don't mind camping in the rain. I'd like to see if that tent keep the water out. You know, it might be it's a one-person tent. I mean, it's bigger than a bivvy. It's a military tent. I'm sure y'all have seen them 100 times. But you know, it's not the kind of tents we had when I was in the Army. You know, we still used them old shelter halves. You know, you got half of it, and your buddy's got the other half, and you know, you got just enough tent poles to do half of the thing. So if you're by yourself, you just lay it on the ground and covering up with it. You can't put it up like a tent. But anyway, these newer fangled ones, they're pretty nice as far as I'm concerned. But I've never slept in one. I've got a couple of them, so I'm gonna check it out and see if it'll shed water. It might be old enough where it needs some seam sealer on it, but there's only one way to find out, and that's get it out in the woods and let it rain on it. So I'm gonna do that, I think. But anyway, I'll get back with y'all when it's time to pack this joint up, or when I'm done packing it up anyway. All right, everybody. I know this was a short one, but I had fun just the same. It's always a good time when you can get out here and do a little camping. I know we didn't really cook anything exciting or anything of that nature, but sometimes it's good just to take it easy and not worry about doing a bunch of extra stuff. I got everything cleaned up, got the fire put out, got everything packed up, and we are ready to head back to town. Like I had talked about earlier, we got some rain coming up. I might try to get out during that time and test a tent or two. But anyway, that's going to be a wrap on this one. And until next time, y'all be careful, and I'll see you again out in the woods.